And you found the quick review. This is Algebra 2, adding and multiplying complex numbers. All right, so first off, adding, really simple. And so I've got, if you want to say technically subtracting, but look, it's so simple. Remember, you got a real part in the front, an imaginary part in the back. So I'd want to distribute this negative just like always, just like you would with math, of course, right? And so now we're just going to add up the real parts. All right, what are my real parts? Positive 3 and a negative 4 for a negative 1. Let me add up my imaginary parts. 2 negatives and 5 more negatives, 7 negatives. Boy, that couldn't be easier, right? Don't miss a problem like that. Really simplistic. Add the real parts, add the imaginary parts. Now, what about multiplying two complex numbers? All right, so watch what happens here. So 3 times 4 is 12. We're just going to distribute, right? 3 times a positive 5i is a positive 15i. Let me do the other one in black. A negative 2i times a 4 is a negative 8i. I like to line up my i's. And a negative 2 times a positive 5 is a negative 10i squared. Okay, so as I go to simplify this, the middle part is easy. Positive 15i and a negative 8i is a positive 7i. But what about this I squared? All right, so real quick, remember, a square root of negative 1 is an I. But also remember, an I squared is a square root of negative 1 times a square root of negative 1 and simplifies to negative 1. And again, I don't have time to go through all the chain, but remember the pattern, I, negative 1, negative I, 1, right? I cubed is negative I, and I to the fourth is 1. Okay, so this is really a negative 1. Negative 10 times negative 1 is positive 10. I now want to put that positive 10 with my positive 12 for a positive 22. And there's my solution, 22 plus 7i. Just be careful on the back end. The I squared is a negative 1. You've always got to have that in your head. That's really important that you remember an I squared is a negative 1. Okay, last thing I want to refresh your memory with is, all right, what's the simplification of an I to the 135th? So remember, the idea is just take the exponent and divide by 4. So we're going to take 135 and we're going to divide that by 4. And I'm going to read the remainder on my calculator. So 135 divided by 4 equals 33. It doesn't really matter, but it's 33.75. What does that mean? This is I to the 4th times I to the 4th times I to the 4th 33 times. And all these are 1, so it's 1 times 1 times 1. So all that matters is this back part. So it's I to the 4th times itself 33 times with an I cubed at the end. Because 0.775, that's 3/4, right? A 3 out of the 4. And what is an I cubed? A negative I. Simplification, negative I. So again, you got to remember I, negative 1, negative I, 1. And don't forget, if you want to look at remainders, this would be a 0.25 remainder. 1/4 when you divide the exponent by 4. This would be a 0.5 remainder, 2/4, right? I squared when you divide the exponent by 4. This would be the 0.7. And when there's no remainder, it's all 4 of them and it's 1. Okay, quick review. Hope you remember.